All right. This is more of a reiteration, but I wanted to go ahead and do it while I'm making these round of videos while I'm on my timeout from Twitter or YouTube for a week. Oh man, it all blends together. Sorry. So don't hold tightly to this world. Don't hold tightly to a lot of things. Now, I still have the belief the game doesn't change; it's just the players, and a lot of aspects won't change. But I think that the more that you accept, I know a lot of people are going to, would be upset about this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it this way: is that the more that you accept what you have chosen to do as a profession, whatever that may be, and the more that you aren't attached to material things as much. I think that sometimes it does happen, but I think that the more that you let go of it and you just kind of accept things as they are, but also realizing that we're not meant to live forever. We're not meant to live for thousands of years or whatever, regardless of what transhumanists have to say or whatever. You know, three score and ten, right? I think I'm getting that right. Correct me where I'm wrong. Sorry for that. But yeah, realize this is all temporary. And the more that I've accepted that, the better things have been. And then I simply just say, well, okay. You lose a job, you spend time looking for another one, but you kind of keep yourself busy by reading books. I'm going to continue on with John Michael Greer. But I'll try to accept that maybe not everything John Michael Greer says is going to happen. I can still appreciate what he has to say, but I don't want to fall too deep into any well. You have to try to take things as they are. Oh, excuse me. But when you take things as they are, it saves you a lot of hurt and it saves you a lot of emotional energy. And you can just say, okay, well, all right, and move on. A lot of people may see that as becoming numb or whatever the case may be, but you just have to realize, like, oh, okay. There was a time when I used to be triggered and angry when I watched, for example, like that guy, Aaron from Reeducation, the Canadian guy. And he puts out a lot fewer videos now, I notice. He used to put out quite a few, but now he does less and he doesn't really have the same background anymore. He used to try to have like at least the pretending that he was, somewhat legit and trying to be a video STS, but now he doesn't seem to care. Or I see Superpower Broadcasting, even though I said I'd never mention him, but and you realize that these folks are in their little bubble. They make their little shifts and changes here and there, but they still ultimately believe the same types of things. Or you hear Vosh, spout his nonsense about how he doesn't like religion, but then it's like, well, religious freedom is important. I could go on and on about it. At this point, I just lurk. I'm just put out these videos. Basically, it's just kind of a. I'll be honest with you. It's the only thing that will probably be remembered of me, and I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. But what I was gonna say before I kind of hear I'm getting sleepy. What I will say though is this is just temporary, and the more that I can let go of this world and just accept things and do what I need to do. Whether it's doing a make ready for an apartment or fixing a toilet or fixing a doorknob. That's what I'll do. It's not my concern for what goes on. There's this kid. I'll tell you this brief little anecdote, but it's two kids. This older guy adopted them from his point man in Vietnam. Crazy story, but yeah. Point man in Vietnam is dying of Agent Orange. He has two kids, and basically relative of some sort of said point man who was Native American of some sort, indigenous, basically adopts these two kids. And they're very precocious, I guess is the word. And they're like, oh, we want to help screw in this new knob or whatever, because all the knobs were kind of broken loose and he was having trouble with it. And so I was like, all right. So I played along for a bit. Get to this last one that goes into the closet. And they're playing back and forth in the closet. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, just trying to be mature. Like, okay, hey, be careful now. Y'all, you're okay? I'm going to shut the door now. All this sort of thing. And the girl, doesn't, kind of just sees how I'm putting in these screws and whatnot. It's like, do you know what you're doing? And what do? Shut the door, and it closes right away. And then, I gave her that little smart look, and then she goes back in on the computer, and she stops messing with me. They've been there the whole time. They are what they are. It's just part of it. There was a time when I probably would have been nasty and angry, but I was just like, well, whatever. I didn't think about it. It's not really a concern for me. And the quicker you can accept things as they are, I was stressed out for a while thinking about this job, because it's like, oh man, he's telling me about the busted water lines and coming up there like 1 or 2 a.m. in the snow and whatnot. But I said to myself, oh, screw it. It's part of the job. But I realized that it's temporary. It's like what the Marine Corps used to say, pain is weakness leaving the body, right? And I think I'm trying to have that sort of mentality. Yeah, I won't like it and it'll suck, but if I know what to do and I'm used to it, I can do it and then move on with my day. I'm sure people that are in the trades, this happens all the time, right? Especially like refrigeration, stuff like that. That's kind of my underlying goal right now, to be honest, is learn what I can being in apartment maintenance. I don't want to stay in it though. I want to get into refrigeration, at least get that experience, because I've watched a lot of the refrigeration guys, like NorCal Refrigeration, seeing HVAC/R videos, and guys like that, Chris of HVAC/R videos and stuff like that. And it just fascinates the hell out of me, to be honest with you, seeing refrigeration. Maybe it's because the first day I started at the HVAC company I started at, my first one, was a refrigeration call. I had no idea what to do. Knew nothing about cut in, cut out pressures. We didn't know what superheat subcooling was on that particular unit. The ambient plus temperatures and all that. I wasn't even aware of all that. And so in a way, at least in my mind, it's one of those things where I can circle back and kind of make peace with that. That's how I feel, that because I didn't know back then 7 years ago, I can spend some time in refrigeration, about ice machines, particularly walk-in boxes, which is what this one was, a walk-in freezer, and just kind of get a lay of the land. That's really where I'm at in life. It's just making peace with those aspects of it so I don't have any regrets, I guess. I can just say, well, I've done all I could. I'm far from perfect. I'm far from a good person. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be, somebody who was anything other than what I was, At this point, I've just accepted some things. At this point, I'm older. I'm an older guy. You know, I only like, you know, I just like doing, these trade jobs at this point. I don't want to go back to, if I have a choice. I know sometimes things happen, but I don't want to go back to, like a Target sort of job or go back to food service. You know, I'd rather just get in there and just change stuff out, figure out how stuff works, and do that. Anyway, I'm kind of getting ranty here. I've been rambling for quite a bit, but basically, I didn't want to say, don't hold too tightly to how things are and just do what you want and be nihilistic. No, 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 no. I'm just saying, is it accepting how you interact with the world and realizing you can't change everything and realizing to a point that a lot of things aren't going to change, but also not trying to be too tightly held down by how it is right now, where we have Wi-Fi, this and that. It's like earlier today, I was upset. It's just a spoiled bratty kid thing where it's just like, oh, the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Wham, wham. And I was just like, I got all these thumb drives full of stuff. And you know what? I sat down, I watched, well, I'll just go ahead and say it. I'll Fed post a hair bit, but I was watching an episode of Murdoch Murdoch. And I watched that. I was watching a little bit of something else, and then the Wi-Fi came back on, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then, went back to it. But I just said to myself, that's a silly thing to be upset about. You know? But it is what it is, as they say. I try not to be too attached to a lot of things. I just kind of just go along, knowing what I have to do, and go from there. You know? Anywho, that's all I got to say. Hopefully, y'all got something out of that. So, see you later. Goodbye.